In Singapore, bus lanes are rather ubiquitous sights found in all corners of the island, on roads, big and small. These bus lanes serve to increase or rather pathetic bus speeds, speeding up the journeys for the majority of Singaporeans who rely on buses. Though the effectiveness of Singapore's implementation of bus lanes is highly debatable, they do deserve their credit for making bus trips faster, especially on highly congested city roads. As such, bus lanes are a requirement for any city that wants to encourage modal shift towards public transport, Singapore among them. However, when I say that bus lanes are ubiquitous and found all across Singapore, I mean that they are common on our trunk and arterial roads. There is one massive component of our road infrastructure from which bus lanes are completely absent, and many of you are probably acutely aware of this. They are our expressways. Aside from certain entrances to bus stops situated along the side of the expressway, there is not an inch of transit priority along the 160 odd kilometer mess of roads that makes up our expressway network. The complete absence of transit priority on expressways is rather perplexing. Numerous bus services utilize long non-stop expressway sectors to achieve fast travel times, and these services run at really high frequencies. For instance, the Tampines Expressway between the IKEA exit and the KPE sees as many as 93 buses per hour during the peak periods. The loadings of these buses are no slouch either. Numerous expressway services are insanely popular and are often filled to the brim. This begs the question, why hasn't LTA brushed up the paint and implemented bus lanes on expressways yet? I set out to find the answer to this question myself. About half a year ago, I wrote an email to the LTA asking for improvements for a bus service serving the estate I reside in, and along with that, put in a request for bus lanes on expressways. The reply I got was rather interesting. The officer who got back to me stated that LTA is, in quote, concerned that implementing a bus lane along these roads may inevitably affect overall traffic and worsen the traffic queues at other lanes, which may affect all motorists and buses further upstream. She also stated that, quote, the bus volume needs to be significant to justify the benefit of reserving a lane. The last part was what intrigued me. How significant must the bus volume really be? I then followed up with another email asking whether bus lanes could be implemented along expressway sectors that receive a high volume of buses, such as the TPE and PIE, and the response I got was revealing to say the least. LTA claims that, quote, bus lanes along expressways will create weaving at segments near the entry and exit of the expressway at a high-speed environment which could create safety concerns, which is their justification for not implementing bus lanes on expressways. Weaving. Seriously? Is this a joke? I'm assuming that LTA is concerned about vehicles having to cut across the bus lane, most likely the leftmost lane, as quickly as possible when entering or exiting the expressway. The thing is, doesn't this already happen on a daily basis? And it's not like this is some normal proposition that has never been done before. Quite the opposite actually. Expressway bus lanes have already been implemented in China and South Korea, with the ones in Beijing being as old as 14 years. It's not like we haven't thought with the idea of expressway bus lanes. The upcoming North-South corridor was supposed to have bus lanes across its tunnel segment. Whether it will actually have them remains to be seen though. This makes me think, are bus lanes on our existing expressways really as infeasible as the LTA claims? With all this rambling about the feasibility of bus lanes, some may question whether bus lanes on expressways really are a necessity. Why should we waste money and pain pissing off car users when we can just crowd everyone on trains that don't have to obey the whims and fancies of car traffic? Jokes aside, bus lanes on expressways are really a necessity. First of all, bus lanes on expressways make bus journeys faster and increase the attractiveness of bus journeys. Bus lanes allow expressway routes to be utilized to their full potential, speeding along while their automobile counterparts are trapped in the snarling jams that are all too common during peak periods. Paradoxically, this actually reduces traffic on roads as car owners and users are incentivized to use faster buses that leapfrog over jams that they would otherwise be stuck in, helping the LTA achieve its goal of a car-less society. Furthermore, bus lanes on expressways improve the reliability of expressway routes and benefit commuters who use them along the non-expressway sectors. The LTA's route planning philosophy means that many bus routes that ply long expressway sectors simultaneously ply feeder and short-distance connector roles rather often. Jams on expressways often result in long headways and bus bunching, and bus lanes enable short-distance commuters who utilize services that ply expressways to largely avoid these two problems. Oh, and also, bus lanes can be used by emergency vehicles such as ambulances to get to accident sites and hospitals as fast as possible. This prevents them from getting stuck in traffic congestion and exponentially increases the likelihood of saving lives. Also, emergency vehicles cause the same weaving that LTA wants to so desperately avoid. And when traffic is already at a standstill, this can increase the danger for other road users. I've actually seen an ambulance quote-unquote weaving through a PIE jam to a standstill, which caused another accident, in addition to the 4-car pileup that had already occurred. So, the need for expressway bus lanes has been made abundantly clear. Now the question is, how to do it? Well, I think I've got just a solution. The first problem to be addressed is where to put the bus lane. The intuitive thing would be to paint the bus lane on the leftmost lane of the expressway, since that's where slower vehicles, buses often included, travel normally. Well, the issue is that in many cases, the leftmost lane only exists for a small period of time, usually only for 2 to 3 exits, to provide additional capacity for sectors of the expressway where traffic is especially high. As such, I propose that bus lanes should be built not on the leftmost lane, but rather on the leftmost continuous lane, i.e. the leftmost lane on which the bus can travel for its entire duration on the expressway sector. This makes it so that buses and other vehicles do not have to haphazardly change lanes in the middle of the expressway, allowing for a safer driving experience for bus captains and motorists alike. Painting the bus lane is arguably the easy part. The tough part is how to deal with the consequences. For one, vehicles that enter the expressway now have to filter across potentially as many as 2 lanes, and filter across those same lanes to exit. There isn't any physical infrastructure that can be built easily that can resolve these issues, so we'll have to go with quote-unquote soft solutions. Vehicles that enter the expressway and can stay on the leftmost lane until the exit should do so, and signs should be put up to encourage them to do so. For instance, someone traveling on the PIE from Stevens Road to Agnew Avenue can stay on the lane left of the bus lane from entry to exit. For those that have to filter out, a more concrete solution can be implemented: traffic lights and expressway slip lanes. Using sensors, traffic lights can be controlled to turn red if there is a bus approaching on the expressway bus lane within the next 15 or so seconds, and can be turned green at other times to allow other vehicles to filter out without facing much conflict from cars. This allows cars to quote-unquote weave out faster and buses to maintain speed while facing limited conflict from traffic entering or exiting. Finally, there needs to be a criteria on whether bus-only lanes should be implemented. After all, if there's only one service plying a certain sector, then what's the point of building a bus-only lane? What should determine whether a sector gets a bus lane is the number of buses passing through that sector per hour. For instance, if a sector of an expressway supports 30 buses per hour during the peak periods, then a peak hour bus lane is apt, while if it can sustain that for a whole day, then a full day bus lane can be implemented. There is a need to strike a balance after all. There needs to be enough people benefiting from the bus lane to outweigh the potential costs it could cause to other motorists. Bus lanes on expressways are long overdue by at least a few decades. Let's hope that the LTA implements them soon and implements them well. Thanks for watching and see you all soon. Hey guys, quick announcement here. Sorry for taking forever to upload this. I've been really busy with my school commitments and haven't really had time to make this video. Also, my A-level exams are coming up really soon, and as such, I don't think I'll be able to upload at all until those finish. Thanks so much for the support you all have given, and I hope my exams go well and I can get back on track for upload soon.